Hello, and welcome to this special live stream on my YouTube channel. So, thank you for anyone who's shown up or is going to show up. How are you guys doing? I'm okay, just settling down with some Pop Tarts and beer. And I've not long ago finished watching the latest episode of The Handmaid's Tale, which airs on a Sunday in the UK. So season 3, episode 5, and really good episode actually. I won't get into spoilers in case people watch it and haven't seen that one yet, but yeah, really strong episode. I thought maybe the best episode of the season so far, and it's been a very good season. I think it's really picked up and done some fresh stuff again, having after having a slight dip last season. The first season, of course, was really amazing. But yeah, so far so good for The Handmaid's Tale season 3. I think it's really doing some interesting things and building on the universe, and all very tense and uncomfortable again, very psychological. And the ending of tonight's episode was a real twist. There was a certain plot, and the way it ended was really, yeah, came out the blue a little bit. But yeah, it's been a strong season 3 so far, 5 episodes in, and yeah, it's at the moment it's a big weekend really, because in the UK they air Handmaid's Tale on a Sunday. On a Saturday they air Killing Eve, which I love as well. And I just caught up on last night's episode actually. They're all available on the iPlayer if you want to binge it. But I was working last night, so I didn't see last night's episode of Killing Eve, second season of that. And then tomorrow night we have Big Little Lies in the UK, which is on its second season. It actually airs sort of at like 2 o'clock tonight, tomorrow morning, if you like, originally, because they air it with the US premiere, but then there's a repeat on Monday at a more reasonable time. But yeah, 3 very good shows um, over the few days. So yeah, how are you guys? Let me know how you're doing, what you've been up to, what shows you've been watching, what films you've seen recently, and we can discuss anything. It doesn't just have to be shows or films. We can discuss, I mean, again, politics is in a really dark place right now, but we can discuss politics. We don't have to go too extreme, too heavy handed, or we can discuss anything. Just ask me anything within reason, of course. But yeah, that's the point of these streams, to be very, very interactive, very just low key and relaxed, really. Not get too heavy. And thank you for the recent subscribers. I'm up to 56 now, so that's a pretty good number considering I've not really been doing this channel very long. And I guess I'll give you some updates. Now, the channel, of course, the intention is for it to be a very retro channel mixed with kind of cutting edge newer stuff. So I try to go for that. I mean, that's the balance. That's why I will be reviewing some older shows. So of course I'm been reviewing Buffy. I've done the first 4 episodes of that, and of course I will be doing more. I will be doing the whole 7 seasons of Buffy, one of my favorite shows of all time. And it, of course, makes sense to also review the spin-off Angel, which was very good too. And so I'll be doing that in sort of chronological order. So obviously Angel season 1 started as Buffy season 4 started, so I'll do it like that. Once I start on the 4th season of Buffy, it won't be for ages. I will start on Angel as well. But obviously I mix those sorts of reviews with newer shows as well. And of course, Stranger Things started last Friday, or didn't the third season dropped on Netflix, and it's been very exciting. I'm on to episode 6, and I've really liked the 5 episodes I've seen so far. They've been doing some great stuff, and I think that's one of maybe a bit like The Handmaid's Tale, where I think this season has brought the quality back up to the sort of standard it was of the first season. I think maybe because the second season, which was good as well, but I think it did have more faults, certainly than the first one, and probably this one. I think the second season, maybe because I don't know, maybe on the back of the first season's success, they sort of rushed it out a year afterwards. And yeah, maybe because of that, it suffered. Whereas this season, it has, now been sort of 2 years or getting on for 2 years. I think it was like Halloween 2017, season 2. And now it's, so they've left almost 2 years gap. And I think you can see the benefits. I think they've really, it's obviously got the core things you love from Stranger Things: the banter, the humor, the teenage drama, the characters, very relatable and likable. But it's obviously got the spectacular effects and the horror, the tension, and obviously the 80s period drama. I always like the way they used the period. I mean, this season, obviously, they're focusing partly on the Cold War era, which was really getting into making the headlines in 1985, which is the season they're at now. So, I mean, that's all very good, the way they've moved with the political times, and they brought in certain things that were in their infancy in the 80s. I can't remember the example actually, but in the episode I watched tonight, there was an example. Oh, I think it was with the lift and Dustin and the gang. I won't really go into too many spoilers because if people haven't seen it, but Dustin and his gang, that includes, of course, his wingman Steve, and Robin, who's a new character. She works at the ice parlor with Steve. And also Dustin's sister, not Dustin's sister, Lucas's sister, who's a fantastic supporting character as well. They formed this kind of group. There's multiple groups in this new season, and they're separated most of the time. They have their own, I mean, obviously it's all part of the big storyline, but it does kind of work as these individual pieces, and I think they've done that really well. I mean, it sort of means there's a lot more to keep track of. But yeah, they're without giving spoilers away, they're in this sort of lift, and they're sort of plunging down, and at one point it stops, and they're trying to get out, and they realise, because it's, like an electric lift now, it's, operated in a different way from older lifts. It means it's a lot harder for them to get the doors open and to escape. And I sort of feel, I could be off on this, but I think in the mid 80s, those things were very much in their infancy. They were, now it's common and you expect those sorts of lifts, but in the mid 80s, I would guess it's quite a new thing. So I always like when a show like Stranger Things does that, where it makes a point of that being a plot point, and it's, it sort of makes it quite believable, the fact that the kids would have that issue with it, because obviously, yeah, at that point, people weren't used to the technology. If it was around them, would have been advanced for the time, because it wasn't the norm. But yeah, been a really good season. I mean, I have to say, I thought the episode I watched today, which was five, was a little loud at time. There was a lot of shouting, particularly from Hopper, and there was a lot of yeah, effects and quite high octane. I mean, maybe that was just the style the director was going for, so maybe they could have toned that down, but they've actually used that quite well throughout the season. I don't think it's been too much, and I don't think the characters and story have suffered. But you know, it is a big event type show as well, so I think you need to have that stuff. And I will say, I think the special effects have been fantastic. I think they've been of a really good quality. And I think they have been used to service the plot. But they've become a feature as well, like they stand out. And I think, again, this goes back to certainly one of the reasons I love Stranger Things. I think it really digs into that 1980s culture and the sorts of shows and sci-fi and horror films we got back then. And I think that's what's a big appeal to people like me, because I really love that era, and probably because I mean I was born in 1980, so I don't remember that much about the 80s. But so for that reason, it opens up this world to me. But yeah, the point about the effects is and stuff like that, very fleshy sort of practical creature effects that we see in the new series. And I think it does give it the feel and the nod to like Carpenter and directors like that, Cronenberg as well. So again, it's all very deliberate. So far so good. I think it's been a really good third season so far. As I said, I've watched 5 episodes, and yeah, we'll finish off this week. And I think the other thing to say about it is the support is the new characters have really added something. I mean, we've been getting more obviously of Lucas's sister, Erica. She made a real impression in small parts last season. So she's now been given a bigger role, which I think is good. She's very, very entertaining, very funny. And this certainly isn't a spoiler, but her line, it's you can't have America without Erica, is one of the greatest lines ever, certainly from this show. Her delivery is just so good, and it's just such a brilliant line. And Dustin in the scene with her really deadpans in, like, well, yeah, I guess that's true. You can't have America without Erica. And yeah, you have to see that scene for the context, but she's such a brilliant supporting character. And I think it is because it's she's obviously, I think she's like a preteen, but it is believable, you know, the fact that it's within this teen adventure context. And yeah, it's entertaining dialogue, but I think because it's from a younger character, you can sort of believe it in a way. Then yeah, she would sort of say that. But yeah, it's entertaining anyway. So yeah, I think that always gets a pass from me. Um, and Robin, who, as I said, is Steve's like co-worker at the ice cream parlor, I think is a fantastic character as well. She's another really entertaining, deadpan, sarcastic type character, but has a good sort of arc of her own. I really like the actress, and again, there's this sort of gang building with her, Dustin, Steve, and also Erica getting more into the mix. But yeah, Robin's a good character so far. I'm liking what they're doing with her. Of course, there's this big balancing act with now these massive characters. So I mean, that's a bit of a struggle, you know, the fact there are just so many now. I think that's maybe why they decided to split them up into all these parts, into their individual gangs. Well, I guess they had to, I think. Yeah, it would have been too much otherwise. But yeah, I think the writing's been very good, and just these little gems in like the casting and so far the storytelling. I think the way they've advanced the characters has been really impressive. And I will do individual videos to review the season as well, so they'll be coming up soon. I've got a little bit behind because I've been doing work and I do the late shift, so yeah, still getting used to that because it's a recent job. But yeah, I will get back into the swing of things. I recently finished Jessica Jones, the third and final season, as far as Netflix is concerned, which I thought was really good last season. Um, Again, I think it did have its ups and downs, particularly towards the end of the season, but I think pretty much all the seasons have, to be fair. But it didn't suffer too much because of it. I thought it was a good standard for the most part. It's just those down points did stand out. But I thought it was a good way to end the series as far as Netflix is concerned. And the final episode I thought was a strong finale. And again, that's an interesting thing because they knew going into the third season then it would be the final season that Netflix were going to cancel it after three. And that's becoming quite a standard thing, particularly with the Netflix Marvel shows. So maybe that benefited the writers. You know, they knew they had to tie this up at the end of the third season. So it actually focused their mind into producing a good final season. You know, I mean, ideally, I'm sure they thought, well, we can, there's stuff here we can still do. We could still, you know, string it out. If string it out maybe isn't the right word, but we can still go for 4, maybe 5 seasons. But yeah, I guess there was sometimes that can focus your minds when you're writing a show if you know it's going to be the final season. And it's not like they found out in the middle of the season, they knew going in it was the last, so there was that opportunity. But yeah, I've obviously been reviewing Jessica Jones on the channel as well. And yeah, give me your thoughts on that. I think it was a good third and final season. So the plan for tonight is, since I've been talking about Stranger Things and since it got started back up this week, is I thought I would watch one on the channel and review it, well, discuss it. And if anyone shows up and wants to watch an episode with me, we can do. We can discuss it on here. And as I said, you can ask me any questions as well. So I'll probably wait a few more minutes, see if anyone shows up to chat, and then I'll start the episode. And I thought it made sense to maybe watch the first episode. Now that can even, I was thinking the first episode of this season, season 3, but you know, the original episode of the first season could be just as good to do. Yeah, I wouldn't want to go too far into it in case people haven't seen that far. As I said, I'm up to episode 6 now, will be the next one. But yeah, I was thinking either the pilot, the first episode of season 1, or maybe the first episode of this season. I guess I could do the season 1 pilot, you know. That might be quite a nice idea since, you know, we've now got to the third season. And it's, of course, become this phenomena, so a pilot could be a good idea. But I noticed 1 or 2 people have been coming and going. Anyone want to say anything? Any questions? Any comments? How is your weekend going? Or how's it gone since it's nearly finished? I'm just lining up the pilot now. Let's see. Another cool thing about Stranger Things is the way they sort of they treat it like sequel sort of thing. So the first one was just Stranger Things. So like a movie, it's going to be a franchise. And then I noticed from season 2 it was Stranger Things 2, and then Stranger Things 3 this time. So they've done it like they would give numbers to sequels, which I quite like. I'll probably restart the stream. So just give me a minute. Hopefully it'll fix the problem.